Hello students, I am going to start the second module of computer network of 5th semester CS and IS syllabus. So for explanation purpose I use PPT from the book Computer Networking, a Top-Down Approach, 6th edition by James F. Kuroso. So this session or presentation is only for to help our students, not for any commercial purpose. So let's move to the chapter 3, that is module 2, transport layer. So in the transport layer, first we need to understand the services provided by the transport layers. So in the diagram you can see here, two end hosts are connected by means of logical end-to-end connection. That means transport layer provides logical communication. What do you mean by logical communication? Logical communication is nothing but a type of communications. It behaves like two machines are kept side by side and they are connected. But in practically, one machine is one corner of the world and one other machine is the other corner of the world. So it is connected in between by different routers, different networks, different links, etc. You can see here. So what transport layer will do? The data from the application layer, comes to the transport layer. Whatever the data from the application layer is divided, or transport layer will divide the data into small chunks. It is called as segments, and transport layer will add transport header, and it will pass that data to the network layer, and network layer pass the data down the network. On the other end, the transport layer receives the segment from the network layer, and it will assemble the segment and it will passes that to the application. So in transport layer we have two protocols, TCP and UDP. One is connection oriented, other one is a connectionless protocol. Connection oriented is slower than connectionless. TCP is a connection oriented. It will establish three-way handshake before sending data. UDP is connectionless, but it is a faster. So now this is the explanation about TCP and UDP. TCP will provide congestion control, flow control, connection setup is there. UDP is not just like that. UDP is provides best effort service, just like IP, but it is unreliable. So now the next concept in transport layer is multiplexing and demultiplexing. We have to think multiplexing and demultiplexing. We have studied in our logic design what is a multiplexer and what is a demultiplexer. Normally multiplexer is like many to one. That is a device which will move one of the many input to the output. Demultiplexer is the reverse process of a multiplexer. Now you can see here three pieces are there, and each piece is some application or some process is running. So in the diagram you can see here P1 is the process, P2 is the process. Here P4 is the process running, here P3 is the process running. So P1 process is get connected to P3, simultaneously P1 process is get connected, P2 process is get connected to P4, and P3 is get connected to P1, and P4 is get connected to P2. Now, what is this exactly? This is just like, you think like you are in front of the computer and you use, see example, let me explain you better. So let me explain you better. So I will use this one, Chrome, and on one window what I will do, I will type www google.com. This is the one. On the second window, I will once again type www.icicibank.com. So I will log into icicibank.com. So other than that, what I will do, I will go to command prompt and I will try to log in FTP and I will try to log in to some site. Now it's invalid, I have not given. The command is connect, something like that, or open. So open, and I have to give the address. So simultaneously what I will do, once again on one more window, I will telnet. I want to telnet to the US machine. Just think like that. I want to telnet to the US machine and I want to configure that machine. So I will telnet like www.microsoft.com. Now it will not connect. I will telnet to this one. So total how many applications are running? If it works properly, 4 to 5 processes are running. That is a process. Is it clear? That is a process. Let me close all these things. Now, when I click here icicibank.com, that data will come here only, in this window only. When I browse some data, that data will come here only. When I use telnet here, that data will come to this window only. But you just see, I am using one IP address, but multiple process. One IP address. This machine is identified by one IP address, but multiple process. That is called as multiplexing. So many to one, many applications, data are collected by the transport layer, and it will send it. Through network layer as a stream of byte. So once again, when it receives the data, it will pass that data to the exact process or application. That is called as demultiplexing. So multiplexing and demultiplexing both are one of the important concept. So multiplexing and demultiplexing used by the transport layer. So once again, let me explain you for this one purpose. In this diagram, P1 is the process running here. You think some applications or process running. P2 is the process running. P1, through process P1, information is sent to this machine. Here also one process is running. That process is P3. But transport layer directly will not send the data. It will send or receive the data through certain interface, that is called as application program interface or socket. So in the diagram, socket is represented by like this. Similarly, here also same machine can send the data to the other machine through socket. So socket normally identified by means of IP address and port number. IP address and port number. So I want to tell you here, see, multiple processes are running here. So how it works, each process makes use of a particular port number. So there are different port numbers are there, that I will try to explain you in the later slide. So this is the explanation of multiplexing. So here you see, this is the header of TCP header. In the TCP header, we have two identity or two field, that is source port and destination port. This is the identity used by the process or socket. So socket is nothing but a combination of IP and port address, but since we are in transport layer, we use only port address here. So source port and destination port. So this is how many bits? This is 16 bits and this is 16 bits. That means totally 32 bits are used. 16 bits means 2 raised to power 16. So 2 raised to power 16, let me take you to the blackboard. So 2 raised to the power 16. 2 raised to the power 16 means 65,536 ports are possible. And you have to remember 0 to 1023 or 24 ports are reserved. That means you cannot use. Suppose tomorrow you want to develop some networking application, you cannot use this one, this port. These ports are reserved. In that 0 to 255 is well reserved. Well reserved. For example, HTTP makes use of port number 80. SMTP makes use of port number 25. FTP makes use of port number 20 and 21. Telnet makes use of port number 23. SNMP makes use of port number 161, I think, 161 or 169. So all these are different port numbers. So for example, just you think, let me clear this one. So this is my machine. I am using 4 application here. The machine IP is 192.168.1.1. This is the machine IP. You think like this. And I am using 4 application. 1, 2, 3, 4. One is mail, SMTP 25. One is HTTP 80. I am browsing Google. I am using Gmail. And I am telnetting 23. And I am using FTP to download certain data 21. 4 ports I am using, right? So now information goes to this one. Now you see 191.68.1.1 80. This is called as a socket. This is the socket representation. One more, I will not write this one since I am not using pointing device. I use mouse, so very difficult to write properly. This is once again same. Here it is 25. Once again here it is same 23. Once again it is same 21. So when you see all these are unique, when you see entire like this, all these are unique, right? Unique number. So this is in this way it works, multiplexing many to one and one to many. It works like this. See, when you see this is unique, this is unique. But if you see this part itself, this is common here. But if you see entire this one, this is unique. This is unique identity. This is unique identity. In this way, it is possible to use multiple process on our this one transport layer. Clear? So below the transport layer, we have also host users IP address and port numbers, as I said. So next one is, so you see here connectionless demultiplexing. So UDP, when you use the protocol UDP, it is a connectionless. How it works? Here he has given, it works something like that. Datagram socket, here one program is given, my socket 1. Socket 1 is created with the port number. This socket 1 will take the port number 12534. So when socket is created, it will take the port number as the parameter input. So now on the receiving end also, what receiver will do, when the host receives the UDP segment, see while sending, it will send by using port number and destination IP address. Then when receiving, it will check the port number in the segment. Then it will direct the UDP segment to socket with the what port. It will use the checksum, all those parts. That is different. Now you see how connectionless demultiplexing works. So here socket is created with this port number, and here also socket is created. That means both processes are running. You think like both processes are running with particular socket. So here also. So now when the data moves, you can see here when the data moves. See, I will not use pen once again. When the data moves, what is the source port here? This is the source port. What is the destination? This is the destination. When the data moves from here, what is the source and what is the destination? When the data moves from here to here, this machine, what is the source and what is the destination? So you can come to the conclusion now. So what is the source port? What is the destination? Here he is talking only about source port and destination port because we are in transport layer. With the only source port, destination port, it will not work. It needs IP address also. IP also it is needed. So, but here he has mentioned only source port and destination port because we are in transport layer and we are explaining you demultiplexing. Understood? So this is the one thing. So socket, sockets are identified by means of 4 parameters. One is source IP address, source port number. Second one is destination IP address, destination port number. Please remember, all these points are very important. So that is the one thing. Next. Now here it is a clear picture you can see here, like how things works. Let me explain. Process P3 is connected to process P4 of the other machine. So when the information moves, it moves along with the IP address, source IP port, destination IP, destination port, source IP, source port, destination IP, destination port, something like this. So you can understand this one better. So now UDP, we know UDP. UDP is a connectionless. It will not do any handshaking like three-way handshaking before sending the data. UDP is unreliable. Then you may ask me a question. If it is UDP is unreliable, then can we believe our data or can we relay our data properly? For example, let me explain. See, thing is. Let me take you to the blackboard once again. Here, this is your machine and you receive some data from some and it is passing through UDP. So what I said, UDP is unreliable. So UDP is unreliable. Here the packets are coming, here packets are coming, segments are assembled here and it will transmit that segment to the particular process or application. Now to what extent I can think like I have received all the data, because UDP is unreliable. That time it is the responsibility of the developer who has to take the responsibility for reliability. When the developer develops application which makes use of UDP as a protocol, he has to take the responsibility, means that application software has to take the responsibility of receiving data properly. Like in the TCP, what TCP will do? TCP will resend. If the particular packet is lost, then the packet will be resent and sequencing number is used, acknowledgement, negative acknowledgement, all those things are used. Here in the UDP it is not like that exactly. So that is the meaning. So let me go back once again. So UDP is, he says best effort. UDP is nothing but best effort. No handshaking. UDP segments are handled independently, but UDP is used in streaming multimedia applications where loss tolerant. See, these are some application which will loss tolerant, that type of applications, and it is used, and it is used by DNS, it is used by SNMP, Simple Network Management Protocol. So there is one software called a Simple Network Management Protocol, some software which will give network statistics, network traces, network packet informations. It will try, so that software makes use of SNMP protocol. That software, what it will do, every now and then it will pinch or ping the other machine to get the information. That time it will not use TCP, it will use UDP as the protocol. It will use a UDP as the protocol. So it is faster. It is not a TCP protocol. So UDP is used by this one. So this is the explanation about a UDP. So you can see here UDP segments. Once again, source port is there, then destination port is there, UDP also you makes, and length is there, and simply one checksum is there. So you to calculate to certain extent whether the received data is proper or not. Then payload means data. This is a UDP segment, and UDP will not provide any congestion control, etc. So next one is so UDP goal at sender side and receiver side. Sender side treat the segment add the adder, compute the checksum using ones complement, put the checksum value into UDP checksum field on the sender side, receiver side, compute the checksum of the received segment, check if the computed checksums are equal checksums, find the value, no error detected, yes, no error detected, maybe error, no error detected, like that it will work. So here he has explained how two integers UDP will how it will compute checksum. Normally datas are represented in 16-bit integers like this. So you take two 16-bit integers and add it. When you add this one, finally you will get carry. That carry you will wrap around to the LSB and add it once again. This is the sum. This sum, what you do now, you take the ones complement. This is the ones complement, and you add this checksum in that field and send it. On the receiver side, reverse process will be done. Once again, the same process will be repeated, and checksum should match. Otherwise, it indicates there is error. Clear, right? So normally data are explained, data or information is like written in this format, like 16-bit integers. Add it. If there is a carry, wrap around, then you will get sum. Then take the ones complement. That ones complement is nothing but checksum. So next one is we are moving towards now very important principles of reliable transfer. So reliable transfer, then connection oriented transfer protocol, then congestion control, all these things, that is nothing but we will talk now onwards in the next session and all about TCP, how TCP works, what do you mean by reliable data transfer, what is the structure of TCP, what do you mean by flow control, what do you mean by congestion control, and what is the reliable transfer protocol, RDT, reliable data transfer protocol, RDT version 1, 2, 3, all those protocols we will try to discuss. So for time being, I will wind up this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you.